It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Hump day. Woo-woo.
Get it done. Get it on.
Exactly. So, as y'all might notice, I'm wearing these little earbud thingies because I'm trying to make sure that I can hear the quality of the sound of the program, trying to improve things, make things a little bit better, because I know that sometimes trying to make things better for y'all. So I'm trying to make sure I can hear what's going on so that y'all aren't just hearing bad sound.
Put a bag over your face. That'll work. Quality of the program.
Right. Like the unknown comic.
That's it. You be the unknown comic, and I'll be Insult the Triumph Dog, comic dog.
Insult the Triumph comic dog?
No, Insult the comic dog, Triumph the comic insult dog. That's what it is. Remember that from Conan years ago?
Yes.
They have a little puppet. And the puppet would say, "Oh, this is nice for me to poop on." Yeah.
Good stuff. Definitely good stuff. All right. Well, hey, let's you know what? Let's go ahead and get into the program. Oh, by the way, real quick, for those of you who may or may not know, for those of you who don't follow California politics, still counting votes in the 6th congressional district, but right now I'm not doing well. Let's put it this way: it's not looking like I'm going to make the top 2, but in California it takes us a week to count votes, so that's how fast, how much technology has improved things here in the state of California.
So we still got time to vote. We can go out and vote.
There you go. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what Democrats are doing.
Yes. Yeah. They gotta hit the cemeteries, get all those votes in.
Exactly. So I'll let you know more as things go on, but y'all are not going to be getting rid of me anytime soon.
Damn it. I mean, that's unfortunate.
I know. I hear you. But tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors?
Let's do it. Let's say hi to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You got yourself an AR. You probably got one of their barrels. You don't even know it. Well, now you can buy from them factory direct. Just go to hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting that good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Make sure you call and do something in California and get those votes counted accurately in the 6th congressional race. Let's say that. If you want the best in concealment holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWG holsters.com, hogholsters.gear. Get on over and visit our good friends over at uscombatgear.com, where you can get everything but the gun.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit them. The links to their websites are in the description to this program. So it's real simple. Just go there, check them out. If you like what you see, spend some money with them. And when you do, make sure you tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. All right. Well, as you know, it's election day, or yesterday was election day, and woo-de-woo, we knew Trump was going to win. But, by the way, breaking news, not necessarily part of today's rundown.
Who?
There you go. Ding, 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 ding. That's what I need. We need to get the Groucho Marx duck when you say the magic word. Yeah. The duck comes dropping down. Yeah. And this is just goes across the board. When you are looking at a general election, it's basically someone's going to become president, right? Someone's going to become president. Now, you can sit and say, I'm not going to vote for, right? Now, if you're in a state that is overwhelmingly going to vote a certain direction, I can understand you saying, yeah, I'm not going to bother voting because I just don't like that person or that candidate. But in particular, if you're in a state where you even have a remote shot at making a difference in that particular election, you need to come out and you need to support the candidate that is most closely represents your values. And if you are a Republican, and I can convict you of being a Republican, there is no way you can say that Donald Trump is not closer to your values than Joe Biden. Absolutely, positively not. So a non-vote for Donald Trump is a vote for Joe Biden. Let me just be very clear. Now, unless you're in a place like New York or California where it's not going to make a difference. But even then, and I say this as someone who is guilty of this in 2016, I will say this. I know that a lot of people made a big hay over the fact that Donald Trump didn't get as many votes in the popular vote in 2016. And it's more of a moral victory than an actual victory. But the reality is, look, you got to pick somebody. Why sit on the sidelines? Especially when somebody's going to be ruling.
But people say he didn't win the popular vote in 2016. Well, that was his strategy. His strategy, they could go either way states. And that's what he did, and won in those states, and won the delegate count by a large margin, as opposed to the popular vote.
He knew how to count the delegates. I guess my only point is that there are a lot of people who did not vote for him. And I, once again, didn't vote for him in 2016. I confess it, because I didn't think he was going to be a conservative. I was wrong. Right now, saying that I was wrong. But I'm saying if we had voted for Donald Trump, the folks who fall into that category, he might very well have won the popular vote.
Yeah, and listen, you take away the illegal vote, he did win the popular vote, right?
Well, there you go. Well,
I mean, the illegal immigrant vote, the illegal alien vote. I'm not talking about erect and flawed. I'm talking about the people that were not supposed to be voting in the first place.
Oh, well, I think that 2020, that is definitely that is definitely the case. 2016 in states like California, yeah, it was probably likely the case. Places that had things like motor voter, where if once you registered your car,
yes,
or got your driver's license, you were automatically registered.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There was definitely a bit of how shall we say, election malfeasance, shall we say?
There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Intentional or unintentional, there were some votes that were cast that should not have been. How about that?
In fact, I'd call it misfeasance. I'd say it was intentional.
Misfeasance. Disfeasance.
No, misfeasance is an actual word. Malfeasance is without neglect, without intent. Misfeasance is with intent.
Well, look at you, Mr. Thesaurus. Oh, digging it. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get into today's stories. Let me move that. Bam. Okay. So let's see here. We're going to start off with Biden administration flying illegals into the U.S. That's right. This is something that was actually in news that was actually just recently released. They talk a lot about Republicans busing immigrants to different sanctuary cities. Well, Joe Biden was actually, because there was such a backup at the border, Secret Service decided that they were actually going to import 320,000 illegal immigrants, illegal aliens into the U.S. Now, this is being reported by Breitbart News. It says here, President Joe Biden is operating a, quote, secretive end quote, program to fly hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens to the United States every year, according to records obtained by Todd Bensman at the Center for Immigration Studies. The records obtained by Bensman via the Freedom of Information Act lawsuit showed the Department of Homeland Security imported 320,000 illegal aliens to the United States last year through a little-known flight component of Biden's CP1 mobile app. The migrant mobile app, Breitbart News has extensively reported, has allowed about 465,000 illegal aliens to schedule appointments at United States-Mexico border for release into the United States interior from January 2023 through January 2024. The app's flight component has flown additional hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens into 43 American airports last year alone. Bensman, DHS officials have refused to say which airports are being used to fly illegal aliens to the United States, admitting that revealing such information poses operational vulnerabilities because bad actors would attempt to exploit the program. Now, Mike, I'm wondering, What bad actors are they referring to that would quote unquote exploit the program? Are they saying that people would actually show up and expose to the media that this is happening? Is that what they mean by bad actors and exploiting the program?
I mean, they could be talking about Matt Damon, right? He's a pretty bad actor. Like
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. We've seen this before, right? We when there has been tragedy around the country, there are the alleged bad actors that, and I'm not saying that commit the act, but those that will come in into the crowds, into the spokesperson role, and will start putting out disinformation, bad information, trying to change people's minds over what happened. You'll see these in the crowds, the bystanders, these people that are placed there and told to put this word and this story out into the community to try and change people's minds over the reason that this occurred.
Yeah, I'm. So we now know. So first of all, we know for a fact that we know for a fact that somewhere between 7 and 10 million people that we know of have illegally crossed our border and entered into the United States. Right. We know that a huge chunk of those, and plus another 2 million are just here. Right. We know they're just here. They illegally crossed into the United States, and we don't know who they are, where they're coming from. We do know pretty sure that they probably shouldn't be here, and they probably brought some fentanyl with them. That we also know, or at least can assume. How about that? We can assume it. But now we know
something illegal. Yeah.
Something illegal. So now we know, though, that the president of the United States was actually flying them in.
Yeah. Yeah. Come on. Get on Air Brandon. Come on in. Yep.
Air Brandon.
Yep.
I cannot for the life of me understand why people are putting up with this. And, in fact, the truth, 80 to 85%, that's the last number I saw, of people blame what's going on the border, at our southern border. They blame it. It's number one issue in this election. And about 85 to 85% of people are blaming Joe Biden for it. Now, my only question is that last 15%, what are y'all smoking?
Yeah, right. Like I said, that last 15%, those are the illegals they're polling. Craig, it's the NIMBY theory, right? Not in my backyard, right? It's not sitting in my front yard. I'm not in Martha's Vineyard. They didn't try and put them in my house. I'm not living in a hotel in New York. I wasn't kicked out of that for immigrants. The rest of the country is sitting around saying, yeah, listen, I don't agree with it, but it's not in my backyard, though. What's the theory? It's the old dog sitting on the porch, and every once in a while he raises his head and howls, and the owner says, why is he doing that? And then they say, well, he's sitting on a nail. Well, why didn't he do anything about it? As well, it bothers him enough to complain, but not enough to do anything about. So that's what's going on. It's not in my backyard. I can comment on it. I could do it here with you. I could do it in the water cooler, wherever I want to, but it's not enough for me to go do anything about it. As far as I'm concerned, that's how most of the American public lives their lives. And we call it, they don't get down into the inside baseball like you and I do with the stats and numbers. They're just the overall feeling, and that's good enough for them.
Exactly. Hey, want to give a quick shout out. Our good friend, Mr. Russell Bryant, is watching us over on YouTube. Russell, thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get on to our next story. So here we've got, we've got to move that down a little bit here. Now, Letitia James, who probably National Rifle Association, and the main bulk of what she's been going after them for has been the spending, the frivolous spending, on luxuries that many there, or some folks there over at the NRA, have been engaged in. Well, it turns out that she might know a little something about frivolous spending herself, because, as is being reported by the Washington Free Beacon, Free jets and lobbyist dance parties. How Letitia James uses campaign funds to live the high life. It says here, New York Attorney General Letitia James has used her campaign war chest to finance a life of luxury. A Washington Free Beacon review of state records reveals. Campaign finance records show that James has pulled over $310,000 from her campaign since her 2018 election to purchase stays at luxury hotels across the country and host political meetings at swanky New York City restaurants. But the largest chunk of James's extracurricular campaign spending has gone to finance her annual excursion to Puerto Rico, to annual excursion to a Puerto Rican junket. The New York Times calls a most unusual gathering of New York politicos. Early this year, nonprofit Somos, whose stated mission is to address problems of the Hispanic community, hosts a conference in San Juan. At the Samos conference, which is sponsored by companies with businesses before the New York state government, James rubs shoulders with New York's political elite and dances at exclusive roped-off parties hosted by public sector unions. Since November 2018, James' campaign has forked over $32,000 to finance her stays at ritzy Puerto Rican hotels as part of her participation in the Samos conference. Now, Mike, I got to tell you, it definitely seems kind of weird that she is definitely seems kind of weird that she is going after the NRA for doing exactly what she does.
Right, Craig. She's exactly the way that she does things is what she's being accused of. Listen, I don't think anybody's surprised, right? Anybody surprised at all that she's spending ridiculous amounts of money and then she's being wasting the money of the taxpayers, by the way, is what she's doing. So it's I mean, we expect this, right? This is what we expect to come out when we talk about the left.
Are you mocking my new camera shot?
What? No, not me. Not at all. Not at all.
Those of you who are just listening to the program, I've added an additional camera shot. And so on this new camera shot, it's like right over here. And it gives me the opportunity to just kind of take a little bit of an aside. So when Mike is going off a little bit and I don't want to... Anyway, so I'm just trying it out. Anyway, but Mike decided to mock me and turn sideways himself.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry.
just so you folks.
Yep.
So she's she's partying like the NRA.
She's I mean, does anybody really think this wasn't going to happen? Anybody really think, if you got down into the politicians, that they're not, just spending lobbyist money, like it's free, from New York, of AOC, right? Who was poor and couldn't afford to get to New York for her first, being sworn in ceremony. And now she's worth millions of dollars already. And she's been in office for just over 4 years.
How does that I mean, I'm real curious. I have to, admittedly, seeing as how I'm not going to Congress now, or at least apparently looking like I'm not headed to Congress, I'm wondering how these congressmen get to become millionaires.
Well, the distinguished gentleman just happens to get a lot of cash in his pocket from people that want him to vote certain ways. That's just really what it comes to. That's what lobbying is, by the way, is here's a big cache of money for a new house that you can use for free, sir, and here's a free trip. We want you to come down and listen to our pitch. Bring your whole family while you're here. Oh, and don't forget to take that bag of cash with you.
Parting gifts.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right.
Oh, that is horrible. That is horrible. But once again, it just goes to show, that's why, by the way, I named this pot calling the kettle black, which, by the way, but you do have a pot calling the kettle black, and the kettle being the NRA. Or what's his face? Wayne LaPierre.
Yep. By the way, Letitia James' current net worth is $15 million. That's a little bit more than they pay normal politicians, Craig. I'm just saying, those state attorney generals, you know?
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, that's what happens when you write folks.
Exactly
In case
right.
you're wondering, that's the other way in which they get rich.
Yep.
Anyway.
And reported AOC's value currently approaching $29 million. So.
Reported on this program about some of the issues that veterans have been dealing with when it comes to their Second Amendment rights. How if you are a veteran and you have someone started under Obama, Trump put an end to it, and it started back up under Joe Biden, where if you actually have someone help you with your finances, or if you have, like, for lack of a better term, a conservator, then you are deemed mentally incapable of being able to take care of yourself. They're mentally incompetent, which means you cannot own a firearm. Well, now that it appears that there is a piece of legislation right now, it is a VA funding bill, where actually the ability of individuals to be able to keep their gun rights might actually, or supposedly actually, part of the bill. Now, this is being reported by military.com. It says veterans appointed a financial manager by the Department of Veterans Affairs won't automatically be barred from buying guns under must-pass legislation to fund the VA that Congress is expected to approve this week. The legislation would bar the VA from reporting veterans who are found incapable of managing their own finances to the FBI's National Background Check Database without first getting a judge's consent. So in other words, at least there is a legal way in which they have to actually be deemed by a court incapable of making decisions for themselves or taking care of themselves.
Yeah, just like you'd see in any other mental health court, right, where a judge has to make a ruling, you know, as opposed to the way that the veterans have been having their firearms rights stripped away from them. Many of them, Craig, listen, you veteran, you retire with your 20 years of service, you go into other public life after that, or other private life after that, making money. You know, you end up with 2 retirements. They make a decent living in retirement, and what they do is they hire themselves a financial consultant, like many of us do, and sign the ability for them to manage their funds. Well, if you were a veteran and you signed your ability for somebody else to manage your funds, you were automatically having your Second Amendment rights stripped away by the FBI. It's just absolutely ridiculous, you know? Craig, this could have been listen, maybe they're traveling the world. They made their kids an accountant. They let somebody else sign it over, or they just go out and get themselves an accountant. They were having their rights removed.
Well, but it wasn't even just that. It was, in some cases, I'll give you an example, financial affairs, because it was easier. We could do everything online. We could set everything up. It was easier for us if we actually had to go into the bank. It was easier for us to just be able to, I mean, but that happens that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
So the good thing is it's in a piece of legislation that's going to have to pass. Now, the question is, I'm wondering what other mess might be in it, but it is in the House, so there's a better chance that it's not going to get out of the House. Included with, it's nice to see this actually being taken care of, so that Democrats, I mean, you know, other presidents and other administrations,
if it passes, you know, it's got to get out of the House, go through the Senate, and then it's got to get signed by the president. And we all know the chances of that happening.
There you go. Talk about being talk about being what's the word I'm looking for? Well, incompetent. Paul.
Yep. Yeah. All right. It's not in his backyard. It's okay.
Crazy stuff. All right, this last story, this is an interesting one. So there was an anchor that was fired for using, well, an old term that we used to use for people of African American descent. What is the name, Mike, of that organization that's called the National Association for the Advancement of who?
What, do you want to get me fired, Craig? What's going on? You know, I believe it's a collegiate. Is that what C stands for? National Collegiate Athletic Association? Is that the one you're talking about?
No, it would be the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Is not.
Yeah, and I guess that's what happened in the story, right? It was written in the script as
Yes.
people of color,
Right.
and somebody on the editing desk changed it to
Mhm.
colored people, trying to shorten the word count because you can only put so much news out.
Right.
Well, reversing it and dropping the of, I guess, makes you fired.
There you go. It says here St. Louis TV station KMOV is under fire after anchor uses outdated racial term on air. It says St. Louis television station is under fire after anchor mistakenly described minority homeowners as an outdated, offensive, racist term. Television station KMOV issued an apology for using the term on February 26 while previewing a story about racial bias on home appraisals, according to reports. Quote, tonight, colored homeowners are sounding the alarm when it comes to undervalued home appraisals, anchor Corey Stark, who is white, said on air.
He's like super white. Look at him.
Yeah, he is. Look. Oh yeah, he's definitely white. He's like Charlie Brown white.
He's got some Norwegian in him or something.
There you go. There you go. It says here, J.D. Sosnoff, KMOV Vice President, General Manager, and Stark tried to do damage control over the apparent slip-up as criticism grew over the cringe remark. It was in an original script as homeowners of color and was inadvertently changed and mistakenly read on air, Sosnoff said, according to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Now, I got to be real with you, man. I totally believe that this was done on accident. Once again, anchors, for those of you who think that news anchors are these like hotbed of like, I'm on it reporting, just speaking about the news from my mind. No, they are reading scripts. There's a reason why sitting here, Mike and I, or in particularly me, fumble and bumble oftentimes because because if I'm not reading, I'm just coming up off the top of my head. I'm not a news anchor. They are. And he was reading something, and fortunately someone edited it incorrectly.
We all saw what happened to Anchorman, right? When he had the script changed in front of him, and he syllable count is what it's down to get the maximum amount of news in the time they have allotted. And somebody changed people of color to colored people. They dropped a syllable out of it. Trying to talk about the plight of people of color. He's trying to help you and get everybody else to recognize that there might be some discrimination in the real estate market for African Americans. And that's what he was specifically trying to talk about, African American, because somebody else, an editor changed a word count on him. Come on, listen. If this word offends you, you need to disconnect yourself from all
you and your microaggressions. I'm sorry. If there's any aggression that Mike is guilty of, it is never going to be a microaggression. It's going to be a macroaggression.
Yeah,
I just think that this is the sort of idiotic stuff. It's like, is there anybody? And here's the thing I'll tell you. I'm willing to bet you that if they went now and they went in that city where that station is, they'd laugh and they'd be like, okay, that was dumb, but okay.
Yeah. That's what we're worried about today?
Coloreds. That'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Right? At the words. How is it that colored people is racist, but people of, we swapped the words around, those two words, and we threw an of in there. And that makes it racist. Really?
I got it, Craig. I think I see the key here. So nobody likes a child molester, right? But could we call them molesters of children and it be softer? It's okay.
I'm just it. And oh, by the way, let us be clear: the term child molester or molester of children are both bad.
Yes, yeah.
Let's, because some of y'all out there have no sense of humor. Matter of fact, I saw a meme the other day, and it said that they say they become more sensitive, right? Well, that's why people who have no sense of humor,
words and everything.
Boom.
I love it. Yeah.
See that I recalled it in a meme, and Okay, I hate Newsbreak. If you guys have that app on your Apple phone, I absolutely positively hate it because they always have some of the headlines they have are just total garbage when you actually go to read the story. And they had on there was it's being reported that Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert have been fired. It like it was a news story. And then at the very end they say, but it wasn't true and it never really happened because it was at a satire site.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, thanks for wasting my time.
Crazy. First of all, if I totally agree with it, I better check it out because it probably the facts in it probably are not. It's probably some sort of satire or
thing. Like if you've misspelled words or got bad grammar or wrong punctuation, I'm not putting it out there. I don't care how great it is and how funny it is. I will not put forth bad English.
There you go. I hear you. That's HAWG Holsters, helping America wear guns. Just go to hogholsters.com, use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, and get your hog holster today. All right, our first one here, it appears to be of the Biden administration, is he wants to be reelected to 4 more years so that he can, he says here, reelect Joe Biden 2024. I need 4 more years and a lot of money to finish what I've started. And it's got this what appears to be a sign. It says a big sign. It says "Build Back Better," reelect Biden Harris for 4 more years. And what are those in that field, Mike?
Those would be outdoorsmen,
The unsheltered.
The
Actually,
unsheltered.
no,
Yeah,
they are the unhoused because you could call their tents shelters.
There you go. There you go. The domiciliary challenged.
The domiciliary challenge. There you go. There you go. And as a way in which to help fund his campaign, now we talked a little bit about how politicians become millionaires from a new sponsorship by Ben and Jerry's. They have a new flavor. It's called Double Dutch Democrat Dementia.
That's a lot of D's.
That's a lot of D's.
That's a lot of D's. Yeah.
D's nuts.
Yeah. Whoa, you said it.
Did I beat you to it?
I was setting you up, sir. Gonna see if you were taking. It's a new Ben and Jerry's flavor, by the way. D's nuts.
D's nuts. Democrat D's nuts. It's Double Dutch Democrat D's Dementia nuts.
Dementia nuts.
Oh, and finally, for those of you who are curious about how we got to be where we are with the border situation, Biden 2021. I'll just reverse all of Trump's border policies. Biden in 2024. Republicans in the second one.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh well.
Dude is
He's
a
a
bad
clown.
dude. Dude is a bad dude. He is a clown. He's definitely a clown. Definitely a clown. All right, Mike. Well, before
You want to clarify, Greg? We said the offensive term D's nuts. We meant to say the less offensive term, an acceptable term, nuts of D's. That's the proper way to say it.
D's.
Nuts of D's. Yeah. Let the caliber you desire. Just check them out at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you get out there and take part in the future today. The best on the market. Anything you desire, you go visit our friends at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. Please take a moment, visit them. Hey, while you're there, hit the follow button. Hit that follow button so that you'll get notifications every time we go live. Check it out. Check it out. Now, I know subscribe also at Spotify. As soon as this is done, this whole video and audio gets uploaded to Spotify. You'll be able to partake of the program. Now, you can't comment. Appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We'll be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday.
Wah.